Rights and Wrongs, Human Rights Television. Now, Charlene Hunter Galt.
Burma is a human rights nightmare. A military crackdown against pro-democracy activists began with the killing of hundreds of students in March 1988 and thousands more later that year. Now, basic civil liberties are non-existent and thousands of political prisoners are held in jail. Nobel Prize-winning opposition leader Aung San Suu Kyi is in her 5th year of house arrest. The military regime's brutal repression has been condemned by leading human rights groups. Rights and Wrongs sent Chris Walker and Tony Avagan to investigate, and here is their report.
In Burma, the Water Festival is a rare opportunity to make noise in a country ruled by a military government known to its citizens as the Pawata, the Keep Quiet regime. In the capital, Rangoon, and all over the country, people throw water on each other as a means of cleansing the spirit. "200 miles away, on a mountaintop on the border between Burma and Thailand, the Burmese army has constructed fortifications that face back into Burma. For the Burmese army lives in fear of its own people and forces them to work as slave labor, army porters, and even human minesweepers. For nearly half a century, military rule has kept Burma totally isolated and transformed the country from one of Asia's richest into its poorest. In 1988, thousands of students rose up against the military, but the revolt was brutally crushed. In response, the military formed the State Law and Order Restoration Council, or SLORC. SLORC changed the name of the country to Myanmar. Under international pressure, SLORC agreed to hold democratic elections in 1990. But after opposition leader Aung San Suu Kyi's overwhelming victory, she was placed under house arrest, where she remains to this day. Leading human rights groups, like Amnesty International, accuse SLORC of instituting a system of massive repression which violates the fundamental human rights of the Burmese people. Nevertheless, SLORC has been successfully promoting foreign investment as a solution to the country's economic problems. American, Asian, and European multinationals now operate in the country. Energy companies from the United States and France have already signed agreements to exploit Burma's natural gas. But to build the pipeline and railroad necessary to deliver the gas to refineries in neighboring Thailand, SLORC must first gain control of border areas inhabited by the Mon and Karen Hill tribe people. For nearly 50 years, the Mon and Karen tribes have been waging a war of independence from Rangoon.
Over 2 years ago, only 3 battalions slaughtered in this Tawai district. Now about 15 battalions for the security of pipeline and this railway road.
Hand in hand with military offensives, SLORC is committing rampant human rights violations of the Mon and Karen people. As a result, over 75,000 have fled across the border into Thailand, seeking safety in refugee camps. Sally Thompson works with an international relief consortium which assists Burmese refugees.
There is just a continual, steady flow of people who are coming across to avoid being taken as porters, where they are used to carry ammunition, food, supplies for the Burmese army, for which they are not paid. They're also used as human minesweepers. They're pushed in front of the soldiers to walk ahead.
I was put in chains in order to be a porter. The army used us for minesweeping. The porter walks in front of the army. Sometimes the mines blow up and the porters die. My friend was cleaning the road and a mine blew off his leg. Another friend lost the side of his face. Most of the porters die in the fighting.
Naimung Sen was the headman of Yepu Township.
Slork troops came with the town census, and only people under 15 and people over 60 are free from forced labor. Even pregnant women are forced to construct the railway. Many people are ill and die.
The refugees secretly took these photos to document the forced labor. One of them, Mi Aipon, managed to escape.
We had to clear first 100 feet for the main road and 100 feet on either side, 300 feet altogether. Then we had to dig the ground, even when it was raining and the sun was hot. And if we failed to work, we had to pay them a fine.
In December 1993, Slork troops burnt down the village of this woman, Mi Kim Hood. She was suspected of being a guerrilla sympathizer.
The military came and ordered us to leave. If we stayed in the village, they would shoot us. I was pregnant and it took me 5 days to walk here. I was worried that the baby might die in my womb. Now I'm very happy to see this baby. His name is Sahai.
With thousands more people fleeing, the Thai government is trying to stem the flow by moving the refugees back across the border into Burma. This camp at Lolo inside Thailand once contained some 5,000 people. Today, it is deserted. The Thai army forced the refugees back into Burma, where they are once again at risk from Slork troops. Burmese jails hold thousands of political prisoners. This former soldier was tortured after refusing to shoot students in the 1988 democracy uprising.
The soldiers came and chained the prisoners' hands and feet. Then they put a cloth bag over our heads. They made us lie down on sharp stones and beat us. And the dogs bit us. Because of this, 2 prisoners died.
Just inside Burma, across the river from Thailand, is Manipur, where ethnic and opposition groups have united to form what they call a national coalition government. Repeatedly attacked and bombed, its army has successfully held out against Slork troops. But now Slork is proposing a ceasefire to the ethnic groups, hoping to divide and rule the opposition. The head of the National Coalition Government's army is General Bomya.
Slork has no sincerity about peace or unity in this country. The offer to talk is only to improve the image of the country internationally and to get foreign assistance.
A few hours boat ride from Manipur is the headquarters of the students who fled after the crushing of the 1988 uprising. Used to living in cities, they have been decimated by malaria and malnutrition. Originally committed to non-violent struggle, the students were forced to form an army which faced Slork troops in an uneven battle. Many were killed or wounded. Without control of any territory, they have no source of income and depend on making and selling furniture to survive.
Most Burmese people didn't know about human rights inside Burma, but they knew only thing, they all are oppressed by military dictatorships. So after escaping from Burma to the Thai-Burma border, we educated our students first. What are the fundamental human rights? What are the democratic principles? Which one is the best form of government for future Burma? The Asian countries, including Burma, declare that the human rights ideologies descended from Western culture and Western people. For us, we never agree with SLOC and other Asian leaders because human rights are human rights, not depend on culture, not depend on tradition, not depend on ideologies.
After 5 years in power, SLOC has now begun to gain acceptance by the international community. More and more multinational companies are opening offices, and foreign governments are restoring aid. But behind the facade is a regime which continues to enslave its people and suppress a democratically elected government. We asked the Burmese government to respond to the testimonies of the refugees. The reply was no comment. Burma's Keep Quiet regime has decided to keep quiet. Reporting for Rights and Wrongs, this is Chris Walker.
You are watching Right